What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today's the title and thumbnail suggest we're going to be doing part 2 of What If Deku as well as Reincarnation. Now, I had a lot of questions on if I will ever come back and if I'm going to be making What Ifs some more or if I'm just quitting the channel. No, I'm not quitting the channel. I was just not feeling too well a few weeks ago and I was waiting for my voice to recover, and then after that became better, I was buying a PC so I could have better quality and better videos for y'all. So I was waiting for that to come in, but it's been taking too long for it to come in, so I'm going to be posting again using my phone like I was originally doing. Yeah, so in the next few weeks the audio should and the quality should be better as my PC comes in, as well as the thumbnails. But yeah, thank you guys for waiting patiently for this What If and for my return. But after further ado, cue the intro. Alright, we start off this What If as we see Izuku wiping some sweat off of his forehead as he says, "One more, it just has to work," as he tries to tap into the power that he was used to send Shigaraki and some of the other villains out of the USJ, but unfortunately it hasn't been working. Ever since he did it that last time, he hasn't been able to feel the same thing and nothing's been working. He wanted to be able to use it before the sports festival came along, because it'll be pretty easy to send people out of the arena using it, but unfortunately it hasn't been working out. But some things that he has been learning is being able to put armament hockey around his sword much more efficiently now, being able to cut through some small rocks and a tiny boulder here and there. But that's been pretty much all the improvement that he's been gaining during the week before the sports festival, as we see Izuku calling it for a night, as it's 7 o'clock now and he has to be home before his dad gets home so we can eat some dinner, since all he's been living off of for the past few days is some snacks and some protein bars, as well as some protein shakes that he made before he came to his training ground. As he packs up his blanket, as he puts it in the basket of his bike, as he heads home, as he's riding past some of the streets, he sees a news station reporting on some events that All Might's been happening. As the news reporter says, "Weekly news, All Might has been going on a tear recently, collecting more and more villains, more than he has been having in the past few months. I wonder what's been happening, but it's been good. Are we seeing the return of Prime All Might?" Well, it's a little too early to say that, but we're just glad that we have our symbol of peace here protecting us for however long is he going to be going until he retires. Probably sometime soon, because he's been doing it for the past 20 years. But we appreciate every single minute, every single hour that he's been giving to Japan, and Japan as a whole has a great deal of thanks to All Might. As Izuku gives a smirk to what he heard, as he's proud of his as his idol and as his teacher, as he bikes on to his way home, as we see Izuku say, "Hey Dad, I'm home." As Hisashi says, "Alright son, welcome back home. Dinner's already prepared and you should have been here 10 minutes ago. What happened?" Sorry Dad, I was kind of looking at the news as I was biking home and I kind of got sidetracked. My bad," as he scratches his head and gives an anime smile, as he says, "There's no issue now, you're already home. There's no need to worry about it. So, how was training today?" "Well, it was pretty good. I unfortunately had no luck with using that power that I used a few weeks ago, but I have been able to use some of my hockey to put it in my sword instead of just using it on my arms and part of my body." As Hisashi says, "Oh, that's good. I'm glad you're finding new ways to use your quirk." As he says, "Yeah. So what did you make today, Dad?" As Hisashi says, "Well, I made miso ramen. beef miso ramen, and I made a lot more than just me and you could eat. So don't be hesitant to get a lot more bowls since I can't finish it all by myself. As he says, thanks, Dad. As they both get a bowl of ramen as they sit on the dining room table. As he said, so tomorrow's the day, huh? As he says, yep. As he slurps some ramen down. Tomorrow's the day that I get to show the world Izuku Midoriya, the future #1 hero, and impress all the current heroes at that. As he says, well, I wish you luck, son. Well, this was really good, and I was enjoying having a conversation with you. But make sure you don't stay up too late, and make sure you don't goof off or play some video games, because whenever you do that, you don't ever wake up early, since you have to be there at 6:30. As he says, yeah. Wait, are you done already? I thought you said don't be cautious to have a lot of bowls since we can't finish it by ourselves. And you only had one bowl. That doesn't make sense, Dad. Well, I have a lot of work to do, and I'll probably get some later. So, good night, son. As he waves off to his son as he goes into his office. As Izuku says, well, I guess that makes sense. Good night, Dad. As we now have a time skip of one day, as we see Izuku waking up as he hits his alarm clock and says, what time is it? As he looks over to his right, as it says at 6:10, as he says, no, I should have woken up 20 minutes ago. I'm gonna be late. As he actually says, good morning, Izuku. I prepared some breakfast. As he says, no time, Dad, I'm gonna be late. See you later. As he rushes on, as he puts his helmet on, as he rides his bike as fast as he can to UA. As he says, man, Izuku reminds me just like me. I used to always be late. Well, I guess it's a bad habit that I given him. Well, sooner or later he'll break it just like I did. As he eats some of the toast and pancakes that he made for him and Izuku. As he says, well, I guess that means more for me. As he begins to scoff down all of his food. As we see Izuku riding through traffic, not even stopping for any stop signs or red lights, because he's gonna be late, and Sensei Aizawa is gonna kill him if he's late to this. And it would be a really bad representation of himself as the future #1 hero. The future #1 hero can't be late, so I can't be late either. As he rushes over to UA, as he barely makes it in time, as he walks up and says, phew, I guess I broke a few laws, but, it'll be fine. No one should be really caring about a 15-year-old boy on his bike breaking a few red light laws, as well as a few stop sign laws, but it should be fine, says Izuku as he smirks in his head. As Aizawa says, good, Izuku, you made it. I was about to tell him to start without you. And then your name been crossed off from the ability to participate, and that would have been very unfortunate since you wouldn't have got any recommendation letters. As he says, really, you wouldn't have done that, Aizawa-sensei. As he begins to cry anime tears. I'm so glad I made it on time. As he wipes it from his eyes, as he hugs Aizawa. As Aizawa says, get off me, Izuku. You have to be going up there because you were the #1 student for the entrance exams, so you have to do a speech. What, a speech? I wasn't prepared for this. As he says, well, that's too bad. That's what you get for being 1 minute late. As he says, you come on, Aizawa-sensei. You couldn't have at least told me a week ago that I would have had to prepare a speech. Nope, that wouldn't have been any fun. And I would have told you 30 minutes ago if you were here at 6, like I wanted you guys to be. Wait, you wanted us to be here at 6? Well, there's no time to talk about that now. Go do your speech, Izuku. As he says, wait, Aizawa-sensei, couldn't Bakugo do it? He got second place, right? As he says, nope, you were #1, so you have to do it. As he says, fine. As he walks up, as Midnight gives him a smile, as she gives him the mic and says, all right, student, prepare. Are you ready for saying your speech? As he says, I guess. As she says, welcome the #1 person in this year's entrance exams, Izuku Midoriya. as the audience and some of the students give a round of applause as he says, well, I haven't really prepared anything to say, but since I'll be the next number one hero, you guys shouldn't really try, it'll be a waste of your time since I am probably the best one here. Well, I guess you guys should have good luck too. And to all the people in Class 1A, well, prepare to get in the last, as well as the people in Class 1B, prepare to get in last, as well as you people in Class 1C, you're prepared to get last, because that's where you guys are going to be placing. Well, have a good rest of the exam, as he gives a bow, as some of his classmates say, hey, what was that about? As we see Bakugo and Kirishima clapping as they say, I wouldn't have said it better myself. As we see Izuku as he's walking down the stage, as some of his other classmates stare daggers into his soul, as now he has a target on his back for making the I'm gonna be the number one hero remark, and you guys shouldn't even try because it'd be a waste of your time. As we see Midnight say, well, wasn't that a very interesting way of empowering your students? As she says, well, I guess it just made them all more fired up. I guess you helped in some sort of way and fashion, but I think everyone should be like that kid, very confident in their skills. That's the only way they're going to be making it in the hero world. But let's start the random exam generator. As we see a big wheel appear on the screen, as it begins to spin, as it begins to slow down, it slowly lands on obstacle race. As she says, alright students and the members of the audience, as well as the viewers from home, our first part of this sports festival will be an obstacle race. As you can see, it will all be point based. Depending on what position you land in will be the number of points. The first place will earn 10 million points, which will give them a big target on their head. And if you do not come within 1 through 42 position, you will be eliminated from this exam. So make sure you guys give it all of you got. As the whole crowd started to cheer, as well as they started to fire up some of the students, as he says, well, I'm not going to be one of the people who comes in last. Well, who comes in after 42nd. I'll make sure to advance on to the next round. As we see them all line up in a big line, as she says, go, go, go. As we see Todoroki immediately freeze some of the ice, as he says, well, this will eliminate a lot more people. As he begins to slip and slide on the ice, as Mina slides past using her acid, burning some of the ice, as we see Bakugo explode his way past through all of the students who fell on the ice. As we see Izuku as he is trying his best to outrun the ice before he unfortunately has the same outcome as his other students, as he thinks to himself, hey, why don't I just coat my feet with some of my hockey that allow me to stick to the ground. As he then stops, as he then coats his feet with hockey, as it creates some spike-like substances, allowing him to stick onto the ice, as he begins to run on the ice now with little to no difficulty. As we see some of the students who have fallen and don't have the quirks like them who allow them to go past the ice, as they say, hey, this isn't fair, but this won't stop me from coming in past number 42, as they all begin to get up as they run, as to the best of their ability on the ice. As we now cut on to the first obstacle, as we see a bunch of huge robots that they faced during the entrance exam, as we see Izuku say, well, I guess this will be a little bit of fun, as he cracks his knuckles and he cracks his neck, as he unsheaths his blade from his back, as he jumps up from the ice, as he then coats his sword in ornament hockey, as he begins to slice rapidly at precise positions, as he destroys the robot, as when he falls on the other side of it, it explodes right behind him. Giving him the classic action cool scene. As we just see him run, and as he begins to slice more and more robots, clearing his path before he goes to the next obstacle. as it's the fall, as it's a huge fall that if you weren't paying attention, you might suffer some serious injuries if you don't stop in time. As we see Izuku jump down as he catches himself with his sword, as he begins to slide down slowly with his sword, as he begins to run even faster, as he begins to get into the landmine zone. As we see Midnight say, as we can see, one student already made it through the landmine zone, as the whole crowd starts to cheer. As we see some of the pro heroes in the pro heroes booth, as they said, hey, maybe that kid isn't all talk, and he might have the ability to back up some of his words in that little speech of his. As we see the others saying, yeah, he's really good. I can't base it solely off of this, but if he keeps at his pace, I might want him to be at my internship. As they say, well, settle down. He hasn't shown anything yet, says Endeavor as he walks through. Well, this is a very impressive start, though. As he's thinking, come on, Shoto, just use your... if you use your fire and you would stop being so stubborn, you could be at the same level, too. As he says, I might just pick him as one of the people to join my internship. So we'll spark up Shoto's will. As he says, yeah, that might work, but we can't base this off it. Like I said, he has a lot more to prove, since there will be two more parts after this. As we see Izuku precisely dodging all of the landmines, only causing a few to go off, but him not getting damaged by any of them. As he then makes it to the end of the finish line, as the whole crowd goes crazy, as this was a new personal best. As they had this version of this part of the exam before a few years back, as this was the fastest that someone has ever completed this exam. As Midnight say, well, let's give a round of applause to our first place student, Izuku Midoriya, the winner of the 10 million points, which will be carried on to the next round. As she says, well, but this is a benefit and a curse because he will have a big bounty on his head so they can collect the 10 million points. As we see all the students in the original that come in from 1st to 42nd, leaving some people from Class 1B as well as most people from Class 1C out of the running from being able to move on to the next round. As we see some people say, man, this isn't fair. If only we were born with strong cores like them, maybe we wouldn't be in Class 1C or Class 1B. It will be in Class 1B and we'll be the people who had the 1 million points. I mean the 10 million points. As we see the people who are top 3 so far, Izuku Midoriya, Bakugo Katsuki, and Shoto Todoroki. As Bakugo had gotten 2.5 million points. He says, that damn nerd, always showing me up. Man, next round I'll be sure to win. As he gives a slight chuckle as he says, good job, Izuku, I guess. As he says, come on, Bakugo, don't be like that. We are friends after all. As he says, yeah, whatever. As we then see Todoroki, who was in 2nd place, had 5 million points. As he says, well, looks like I still have a little more training with my eyes to do, but sooner or later I should be able to catch up with my ice, and I won't have to use my fire. And then if I ever choose to use my fire, which will be highly not likely, I'll be way more stronger than any of them. But guys, this will be the end of this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Sorry that today isn't that long of a video. Well, this isn't as long as a video. I'm trying to ease my way back into, doing this, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this what if. Hopefully you guys, it was worth waiting a month for. Again, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. It's been Zero, and I'm out. Peace.